This is Harlem Network News, and I am Terri Wisdom, and we are here on this Sunday afternoon that is part of the Labor Day weekend to speak to the community. As you know, Harlem Network News is a new media platform. We started at the onset of COVID, and we are still here. Very critical, very important. We started at the onset of COVID. Really, my background is in media, but folks were walking around Harlem and they were stating, "I'm Black, I can't get it." And they were referring to COVID. So we knew that we really had to ramp up our news and information and just make sure that folks were clear. We are the voice and the drumbeat of Harlem and the Harlems of the world, and that encompasses a lot. And as you know, Black media has been getting like some hard hits and punches. So what we're doing is extremely important. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we are on YouTube as well. And today we are here to really celebrate an iconic celebration that's been happening. And this is the 53rd year right here in Harlem that most Harlemites know about. And I guess because of COVID and virtual, more people know about it, but it's the annual African American Day Parade that takes place every September. And I have the chair of the parade, the Honorable Imam Yusuf Hasan. So please, if you would just welcome the community and let them know who you are and whose you are. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Terri, and thank you, the community of Harlem, not only here in New York City, but the Harlems of all of our communities around the country and around the world. We are back, and we're grateful to be back in person this year for our 53rd annual African American Day Parade. It is important that we as a community realize that events like the African American Day Parade and other great events that takes place in our communities always recognized and showcased. Our community have been on a lot of seas, as our hosts have mentioned, and the African American Day Parade is one of those vehicles that we hope that will continue to highlight our culture and our history. My name is Yusuf Hasan, and I am the chairman of the African American Day Parade. And I've been the chairman since 2013 after working with the parade on the board since 1980 with the great Abe Snyder, who is still my chairman. He's still alive and still well. I mean, he's just not able to function as well as a 90-year-old might function, but
okay.
He's still available to us when I need to see him and his family and get advice. This parade is very important, and my background truly is in lifting the spirits of the human being, not just African Americans, but all. I support children and pediatrics at one of the great healthcare systems in the system. And I make sure that this parade is designed to lift the spirits of our young people, our seniors, and our community as we go forward. I'm a healthcare provider. And so this year we are focusing on the healthcare of our community. If COVID have done anything, they have pulled the curtain back on iniquities and injustices that have been plaguing our community, not only in healthcare, but particularly in our community and other areas of business, health, culture, politics. And certainly we want to try to highlight those areas to show that we are still here, we are alive, and we want to highlight those areas that will strengthen our community. I've been working on this parade because it's important. And I started out as a young man in my 20s, supporting the parade And I'm still here because I think this parade really is designed to showcase the absolute brightest and best of our communities,
All right, I love it.
to show our dignity, respect, love for each other, and to commemorate our ancestors. This is a very special day for us and for me. This is a journey that we've been on for 52 years now. And we haven't missed a
Long
bullet.
time, long time.
Long time in Harlem.
Yes,
What
yeah.
we've been through during the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. You know, this parade has still stood out in the community in some way or another. And some people say it went down, but they doesn't understand that we intentionally took some things out of the parade to make it a better parade where it is today. And we expect to take it further after this year's parade to new levels.
Okay. Well, Imam, and for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And I am here with the chair of the African American Day Parade, which is getting ready to celebrate its 53rd year. Very, very, very significant. And Imam Yusuf Hasan has been explaining a little bit about why this parade is so important. And, you know, being a Harlemite, I've attended the parade most of my adult life from the time that I was in my 20s also. And one of the things is that this particular parade was never, to my knowledge, actually featured like on major television or anything of that nature, you know, but it was something that was really a drumbeat of Harlem. We knew the parade was coming. We brought our kids out here, and suddenly we really and truly saw how many people we have in Harlem and how engaged we could be. And to me, that was always like the significance of this parade. And I want to commend you, Imam Yusuf Hasan, because, you know, you came onto our show. You were one of the first people to come on the show when we started. I believe it was like Easter Sunday, and we were just jumping in the deep water. COVID was ravaging, and, you know, as clergy and as community leaders, folks came on and they spoke and they shared. But one of the things that I respected so much is that early on, you were one of those leaders that made a decision that we are going to have this parade virtually. You didn't wait till the last minute. You were very sure-footed that it was important for the parade to be virtual, because at that time, we really didn't know what was going to happen with COVID. And I believe you made that decision the next year as well. So I just thought it was great leadership that you had that insight and forethought, you know, which said this is why this parade is what it is. So would you share, I'm jumping around with the questions, but just share a little bit about what the leadership of the parade has been, your board, you know, your staff, your workers, because we know that it's very difficult with the disparities. And like you said, COVID brought the scab off the wound to really show so many of the disparities that we are still fighting: healthcare, education, housing, you know, getting the community engaged, poor voter turnout, so much. But in the midst of all of this, you have prevailed. What's the secret? Because everybody needs to know that. Thank you.
Well, the biggest secret is that we was, just to be clear, there was a time that the parade was televised. A day later, a week later.
Okay.
11 and Channel 9 back in the 80s. And when we decided, as the board of directors under E. Snyder, we decided to take out of those alcohol floats those folks that talked about cool cigarettes and Budweiser beers and
Okay.
Heineken's, and we decided to take those floats out, which was a very big part of receiving funding for the parade.
Mm.
And when that happened, then all those other corporations began to drop out because they couldn't see any way to push their products forward in our community that brought negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we decided to bring it back to another level, which is bringing in different corporations, different organizations that would support the needs of our community and support us as a family and a community that want to see the best for our communities and our families. So when the pandemic hit, it really took a toll not only on people around the world, but definitely a toll on the African American community. And we decided early on in the process, when we saw this thing breaking, we make our decisions like once the parade is over in September, we start our meetings in October.
I love it.
And when we got to putting in our applications and putting things together in November and December, we saw this and we decided that if anything happens, we does not want to jeopardize our community and our senior citizens and our children who come from around the country to a pandemic and an illness that might affect us to the point that we might not get the best care of other races and other communities around the world in this country. So we decided in January to forego and go to a virtual parade. And then I'm going to say we did not have professionals to do this virtual parade.
Okay.
We took our own team. Because I think we as African American has the ability to do practically anything we need to do for our communities if we put our mind to it and not be afraid to step out into deep waters. So we decided to step out and said we will have a virtual parade, whichever way that went. We just figured it out as we went along. So I recruited a few younger board members who was a part of us, and they knew the technology. I had the knowledge, I think, to see how the vision to see how a parade would look if we did it virtually. And we transformed that over to our young people, and they began to put it together as a virtual parade, not someone just celebrities talking, but we've had great celebrities in this parade out on the ground. I mean, some of the greatest ones.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali, Spike Lee,
Okay.
Denzel Washington, Queen Latifah, and you can name them across the line. And Melba Moore and the other groups of people that we had was very important for us to make sure this parade lasts. So we decided to just say, let's have a virtual parade. And we went to the virtual mode. And these young people did a marvelous job. Trust these young people, trust our people. Don't look outside of us to make this happen. And they made it happen. They began to, organize, and we got our grand marshals together, our marshals, honorary guests, and we had interviews with them. And then we went to some of our universities and colleges and had them to send in clips about what they was doing and show them what, then we could put that together and put that as a virtual parade. And it worked out beautifully. So if you want to see the virtual last two parades that we had in 2020 and 2021, go to our website, www.africanamericandayparade.org, and you can see those two virtual parades as it went along. And it was like about 2 hours long.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it.
We made that conscious decision to help our community not be put in this position. And many people just didn't know about it because we have an issue sometimes with the media.
Yes.
Putting us in that area. And that's why I'm so proud of you, Terry, and some of the other African-American women and men who are out there now trying to start your own companies, because we need to tell our own story in our own way.
Yes, thank you for that. And thank you for just really, pumping up Harlem Network News, because the work that we are doing is extremely important. It's extremely hard because, as you mentioned, with disparities, Harlem Network News, we don't have the funding that we need, but we do have, the knowledge, and we do have the will to continue moving forward. And we are clear and have faith and skills that we will develop the funding to really bring Harlem Network News to the next level, of really being like a 24-hour news service, because we must tell our own stories. We must have our own insights. And I celebrate, last week, we did Harlem Week. And that's another organization, through the Harlem Week and the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, that has sustained all of these many years. So it's kudos, because for our organizations to sustain over many years, it's harder than other organizations because of this disparities, because of the redlining, because of, having separate but not equal schools. So we're fighting an uphill battle, but we are a resistant people, and we will continue to stand strong. And we are looking forward this year to participating, in the African American Day Parade as Harlem Network News for the first time. And we also are looking, proudly as being part of the media team, because this work is important. And, being out at Harlem Week really showed us that our community, if you get out there hand to hand and engage them, they want to participate. Harlem Network News has started a petition, and we'll talk about that, to bring our sister Brittany Griner home. Because as you can see, it was all newsworthy for a minute, and now we're not hearing anything about it, and it's a matter that Brittany Griner could be any one of us. She's a WNBA player, but she's a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? And so these things happen, incarceration and wrongful incarceration. This is also a part of our history. So we are continuing to keep her name alive. We have a petition going directly to President Putin. You can go to our website. We're looking to bring together a delegation of clergy and the people. And the response to that, out at Harlem Week, we got over 1,500 signatures, which says that our community does care, which says they can be engaged, but there's kind of a media blackout about what's going on in our community. So that's why this work is so important. But, we could continue the conversation for sure. But Imam Yusuf Hasan, can you really just share with the people, what is the African American Day Parade? Why did it start? How did it start? Because we like to assume that, everybody doesn't know everything. So we want to be really clear so people know what it is. But like I said, it's a part of the drumbeat, because without any promotions, or like you said, you have to take out the negative promotions, but the people of Harlem and the Harlems of the world come out, and we look forward. And it's a day where we feel this is ours and we feel proud. So just if you could just share. Thank you.
Thank you. And so that's important, because this parade really came out of a group of men and women and men. Let me just say that. Because
okay.
They always lead the road. They always push forward, throw us out front all the time. And women that's behind that's doing the heavy lifting. Out of the West Indian Day celebration, it was a combined effort back in the late 60s. And then after, Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, the board of the directors of AFRICA came together, two groups came together, and they decided to merge together to bring this parade into fruition in 1968. And the parade itself was in 1969.
Okay.
And in 1969, we decided to have the first parade. I wasn't there at that particular moment, but I know the leaders who were there.
All right.
Abe Snyder was one of the leaders, along with Conrad Peters and Livingston Wingate and 12 others.
Okay.
And others that came together to make this parade happen. And it was designed to showcase our people in a better life. That we wanted to make sure that people know that our community is very vital to the American existence. And how people really understand.
Harlem is the Mecca of the Black world.
Harlem is our
Don't
home.
get it twisted.
Harlem is our home, like other communities have home. You have Little Italy, you have a little Jamaica, you have little this and a little that. But Harlem is our home.
Yes.
And the Harlems of all of our inner cities is the same. You know, we struggled, we died, and we fought to make sure those areas were secure, and we raised a lot of good young men and women in those areas. You can go from California to Georgia to New York to Chicago. You'll find that many of our young men and women who are now great leaders and celebrities around the world came out of those apartment buildings. We used to call them projects back then. Now they're out of those apartment buildings and they are great, great people in the community. That took a lot of work from our mothers and our grandmothers and great grandmothers and uncles and people that, you know, we doesn't look up as important people. But the parade is designed to highlight those men and women because they have done a lot and we doesn't see them as our really heroes and sheroes. They've done a great job. And so the parade comes out of that light of Dr. King's being assassinated. Instead of seeing all the violence and the negativity, we wanted to show the best of us, the good in us. And I say that today as we go forward, that we talk about, when we look at the African-American communities, especially the Harlems and the Brownsvilles and parts of Brooklyns and other places of that nature.
And the Comptons, and we can go on.
Exactly. We
go
see the
on.
shooting and the killing, and we think this is African-American lifestyle. But really, that's just a small portion. The bigger part, the most important part, is the good in our community. And the parade is designed to showcase that large community of people that is us. And we want to make sure that happens. It's unfortunately, the media have a tendency to show the worst of us and blow up those things that's negative, as opposed to really celebrating and having a balance of the good in our community. So the parade is designed to do that. And so as we go forward with this parade, I think people need to understand how important it is to support it. And we need to support your organization, like we need to support Harlem Week, and we need to support Juneteenth celebrations in our community.
Yes.
It's definitely important that we support the African American Day Parade because this is our parade. And it's an invitation only, and we want to showcase people that are really in our corner and supporting our community and showcasing us. So it's important that we, as African Americans, do one or two important things. Talk about the parade. Let people know it's coming. And let people know it's their parade. One thing about the African American Day Parade, we doesn't charge people to be in the parade. And like other parades, they charge people. We doesn't pay people to be in the parade.
Okay.
Because it's your parade. Now, if it's your parade, then
it comes from the community, the grassroots of the community.
And it's run by the community. It's not run by the politicians. It's not run by business groups. It's not run by religious organizations. It's run by the community, people that's on the ground. And you might think they're not smart because they doesn't have a master's degree from Harvard or Yale and smart in all those other areas. They might not be very articulated like I am. I'm not a very articulated person, but we have the heart and the strength. We are not just a skin color. We're an experience. We've experienced everything in the history of mankind, and we have strength to overcome anything that comes our way. And we need to show people that we are who we are by God's permission. It's only by God's permission that we are here to stand today with this African American Day Parade. And I'm grateful and honored to be the chairman of the parade, not for self-aggrandizement, not for power, position, control. No, that's not what I do. I give the power and position and control and the credit to those who work with us, who are volunteers. They are the main people that we deal with. And many of them now are very elderly. And that's why it's important for me to show that our elderly, those people that's been out there for so many years, now they're on walking canes and walkers, but they're still willing to volunteer to make this parade last here in Harlem. And it's important for me to say this because there are two things that makes me very, very happy for what I do about this parade. It glads my heart and my spirit. And that is to see the young children, the little boys and girls who've been training and stepping around in the neighborhoods and in the little apartment buildings and in the community centers and the mothers and the aunts and the cousins and uncles trying to teach them how to do these nice little steps and keep them together and keep them out of trouble. And then to see them step out on the biggest stage in the world for them, because they have nowhere else to showcase what they do. The parade gives them that opportunity from around the country. And I can say this, these children come from all over the country. These bands and organizations, we have over 15 states that are sending people in this year for the African American Day Parade. And they know they have to go to school the next day. But they save up their funding and they organize themselves and they take buses and they come into the hotel rooms over here and they come in and they stay and they come out and showcase the children. And they are so happy when they go home, knowing they have to go to school the next day. That gladdens my spirit. And they'll never can do anything wrong when they march on this parade without Adam Clayton Powell Jr. And then the most other thing that's important to me is to see the senior citizens. We have a special place for them as well. At the reviewing stand at 125th Street and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. We have a large tent that we are designed to make sure our seniors, not just those who are celebrities and know everybody. We're talking about those who've been living in those apartment buildings now. You used to call them projects. And those old gentlemen and men and women used to be out there holding the community together the best that they can. You know, we want them to sit under the tent and relax and watch the fruit of their labor go past. When they see the firemen go past, they see the doctors and the nurses, and they see the social workers, and then they see architects, and they see all of these people go past them, sororities, the unions, the police department. They say, those are my children. They can feel comfortable enough to know that they have done a great job, and we give them that platform to work for. So this parade is very important to me. And I think, and I hope it will be very important to all of us as we go forward. And two people that say something very important about this parade, and I just want to highlight
Okay.
them for a minute.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
And one of them is the great Mayor Dave Dinkins.
Thank you.
He had an interview with our mayor. And the mayor said, this parade is one of the vehicles that will showcase our history and our heritage for a long time. He said, I hope this parade lasts forever here in Harlem. The last interview we had with him in 2019, before he passed. And the same thing we had with the great Arthur Mitchell at the Lens Fest Center. He said, now, he was talking, he had a big show, and after the show we was there, and he said, and I want to talk to you about this African American Day Parade. This guy, this man.
Before you go on, Imam, if you could just elaborate, Mayor Dinkins was the first Black mayor of New York City, but would you just tell everybody who Arthur Mitchell is so that they really get the full picture? Thank you.
Well, Arthur Mitchell was one of the greatest choreographers, and he was one of the greatest, dancers. And he was a great great leader of people with opera. He knew how to have dancers to do certain things. Uh, what you call it? The like you do in Europe and France.
Ballet, yes.
Ballet. He was a
Ballet,
ballet.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Great
yes,
Arthur Mitchell.
yes,
He was
yes,
a
yeah, with
great
Dance Theater of Harlem.
dance theater of
Yes,
Harlem.
absolutely.
Founder, one of the
Which
co-founders.
is still going on. And
Exactly.
this is Harlem Network News for those of you who are just joining. And I'm here with the chair of the African American Day Parade, and that is Imam Yusuf Hasan. And he's telling us a little background about the parade. So continue about Arthur Mitchell. And, you know, I know that Arthur Mitchell and our great other ancestor, Cicely Tyson, were very close and worked together. So that's a significant factor.
And this is what Arthur said, and a great Arthur Mitchell said. I mean, you know, a great man. And in the interview, he said, now I want to talk to you about this African American Day Parade. That's what he said. He said, now,
Okay.
this man is trying to raise funds for this parade. And you will go out and you'll buy you a dinner, get you something to drink, buy you an outfit, but you will not give anything to the arts. He said, without the arts in your life, it's like you're living in a desert. That was so very important that Dave Dinkins and the great Arthur Mitchell say that about the African American Day Parade before they passed on. And Arthur Mitchell had two great floats in that parade that year that he died in 2019. Two big floats. He said, I want one big one and one in front. He'd have his dancers doing ballet on the first float, and he'd sit on the top at the back. But he couldn't make it because he was in the hospital. But before he passed, he had an opportunity to see his floats go through the parade route. And so Arthur Mitchell and those, and this is important too. Listen to me very clearly. When I took the reins of the African American Day Parade, we had $8 in the bank account.
Okay.
$8. But we had a magnificent parade.
Okay.
So it's not about so much of us realizing that it's about money for us. It's more about us participating, volunteering. But money will secure this parade. Funding will secure this parade forever if we allow our people to do that and donate to the parade at some level or some other way. This is our parade, and I expect us to handle that. But other than that, we will continue to run this parade as it should be. So that's important to me.
Okay. Okay. I love it. And I think you have raised some extremely important points about the heart that it takes, about the true grit that it takes. And, you know, just having the vision, okay, having the belief, having the faith, and then following it with, you know, securing your funds and, you know, your organizational skills. Because even when we look at a Motown, you know, which became one of our greatest African-American record labels, and it says that Berry Gordy started Motown with $800 that he borrowed from family members. You know what I'm saying? But obviously he had a vision and a way of leadership and putting some things together. But what I would love to know is what is it that we can expect at this parade? Because I know you talked about the health theme. What are we looking at this year coming up? Thank you.
Well, this year we've instituted a couple of new things in the African American Day Parade. Number one is that we have a pre-parade show.
Okay.
You know, we're focusing on our healthcare providers. That's the most important point. They've been through a lot with the pandemic. We'll talk about that in a minute, but we've instituted two other things I think is important. One is a pre-parade show that we will have beginning at 11 o'clock at the Review and Stand on 125th Street and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. Live entertainment with gospel. We want to make sure the entertainment is spread out across the entertainment field. Not just, you know, parties and so forth. We want to make sure we have some gospel there for our seniors. We want to make sure we have some spoken word. We want to make sure we have important rappers and young people to come out, unsung people that we need to showcase. And certainly we would like to have all of our celebrities to come out and make just an appearance if they want to sing a song or two. But it's about showcasing those who need to go forward and be shown as African American talent. And they've been practicing and working for many years, and we want to showcase that. And the other one is that we will have a kickoff, which would be the literacy program at St. Nicholas House's playground.
Mm-hmm. And where is that? The St. Nicholas House's playground. I want to make sure everybody knows.
Adam Clayton Powell is on Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard between 128th and 129th Street on the downtown side. In that little park, that we will have a literacy program set up. We will have a book giveaway for the children, a literacy teaching program. We will have some other nice things that are there for the children to say that you can come out of the apartment buildings, come down, get your free books, learn some more things about what we'll be teaching you about literacy and education. And then we hope to bring those same children over across to watch the parade at the review and stand area. So they'll feel very comfortable with that. That's important because our children is very important to us. And education is the key to all of our successes. And then we want to make sure that we have those two things combined earlier in the process of the parade. Now the parade itself is going to be a little more high-powered this year.
Okay.
We want to showcase those areas that we are focusing on, which is healthcare. And we have some great grand marshals this year from some of the major institutions in healthcare. And people might say, why is it that we have to have grand marshals and marshals from places like Memorial Sloan Kettering, or either Mount Sinai Health System, or Northwell Health. We want to make sure people know that you can go to the best hospital in the world if you want good health care. And they are trying, and we want to make sure we showcase them as well in this parade. Because I think we have some great African-American physicians and nurses that are in those places that are willing to take on our community, whether you are rich or poor. They have to provide the health care that's needed for our community. And not taking anything from our, health system that's with the city and Health Hospital Corporation. No, there are great physicians there as well. But we want to highlight that we have cancer and other areas that people specialize in. We want to take our people to the best as well. Other people get a lot of care, but we seem like it's not for us. And I want you to know it is for you. It's for us too. It's ours. And our doctors and nurses are there. And they are taking care of others, and they'll be certainly happy to take care of their own as well. And we want to highlight that in this year's parade. And we have some great grand marshals. We have, and most people might know Dr. Michelle Henry. She's a great clinical instructor and dermatologist, dermatologist and skin profession. She's a great doctor. She was a marshal once before in the parade. And we have Sandra Lindsay. I think people don't know Sandra Lindsay as well. She is the person who took the first vaccination shot. She was brave enough to take that vaccination. And she's the director of patient care at Long Island Jewish Medical Center. And we have Dr. Bernard Robinson. I think people don't know Dr. Bernard Robinson, Mr. Bernard Robinson. He's director of emergency medical services of Manhattan and Northwell Health. He makes sure you get your medical services for those trucks that come out and take care of our people. And Dr. Pamela Abner. She's a great person that wants equity, and she's the chief and vice president and chief diversity officer Mount Sinai Health System right here in our neighborhood.
Okay.
Come on, and Dr. Garrett Butts, who doesn't know Dr. Garrett Butts? You know, Executive Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Mount Sinai. A great position, you know, in Dr. Butts. And then if we look at some of the other positions that we have, and also we have Nicole Buchanan, and she's the Associate Director of Equity University at Memorial. And we want to make sure that Ralph Lauren Center, that our community go to the Ralph Lauren Center over on Fifth Avenue and get support when you have breast cancer issues. That's important. I think people need to know that. And then we have Dr. Louis Voigt. He's an ethicist. He's the head of the ethicist committee at Memorial Sloan Kettering to make sure people are protected and have the right to say what they need to say and get things done on the community's behalf. And then we also be honoring David Banks, who's the chancellor, because this healthcare system needs to be upgraded in our school system. And I know Dr. Banks, Chancellor Banks have been so much great work in the healthcare system and in education. So these are great people we want to highlight this year in Africa.
Okay. Well, I thank you for that, because as you're highlighting, you're also educating, you know, and this is part of some of the media concerns that we have in our community, just in terms of really getting the information of who's who and what's what. So the African American Day Parade is highlighting, but also educating. So this is Terri Wisdom. I'm Harlem Network News, and we are broadcasting live on Facebook today, on 2 networks, on my own personal network, as well as on harlemnetworknews.com to just broaden. And we will also be doing a rebroadcast of this same interview, because we think it's so important. And we want to do our part to make sure that people know that our great African American Day Parade is coming. Now, what date is the parade, Chairperson Yusuf Hasan, and what time should they come out? Because I know you said there's the pre-parade and then there's the parade. So where do they go for the pre-parade? What time should they get there? And then how do they get set up to see the regular parade? And if you could just share what the parade route is, because, you know, because of the virtual and, you know, just because folks are so happy to be able to come out live for the parade, but we want to make sure everybody knows everything. Thank you.
The pre-parade starts at 11 o'clock, and it will be at 125th Street and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard at our reviewing stand area.
Okay.
Hope everyone will be there by 10:30, 11 o'clock at the latest.
Okay.
Especially our seniors, sitting and relaxing and watching the parade. We want to watch the parade in that area and the pre-parade show in that area. That's important. 9 o'clock, we start the children's literacy program at the park across the street from the parade.
Okay.
That's at 9 a.m. and it ends about 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Okay, and then the parade itself starts at 1 o'clock at Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard and 111th Street. And we also have 2 other great events that's going to be taking place before the parade. We've instituted, and I'm honored to say this year, for the first time in 52 years, we will be having a reception at Grayson Mansion with our great mayor, Eric Adams.
Okay.
And that will be on the 7th of September, and it's a brunch. And he's been gracious enough to allow us to come. And it's only, and I can say this, we worked hard. This is the first time we're doing this with him, and it wasn't in the budget. So we understand that. So we only have slots for 30 people.
Okay.
But it's a kickoff. And next year we hope to have 1,000 and invite the entire community out, hopefully.
Okay.
And so it's important that our board of directors be there. Mm-hmm. It's important that our grand marshals be there. And certainly we're gonna have some of our great leaders, you know, Charlie Rangels and people,
Okay, yeah,
those are Hazel Dukes. They've been here with us for
beautiful,
years and
beautiful,
years from day one.
beautiful.
We want to make sure we have an opportunity to begin to kick off for the first time in the history of African American Day Parade to have this
Okay. Well,
wonderful.
that's very significant, and I think it's very important. I think it's extremely important that Mayor Adams stay connected to the community and respond to the responses of the community. He is our new mayor, and he's coming at a challenging time. He is our second African American mayor, and it's our duty to assure that he is accountable to our community, because as citizens, that is what you have to do with the public officials. You have to build accountability and relationships. So I know that they had an event for Juneteenth. This year, they didn't have the Harlem Week event as they usually do, but it's now coming where it's going to be an event for the African American Day Parade. And I'll put my hand up. Hopefully there's media that could be there in Harlem Network News.
Well, that's the issue. I mean, that's
yeah.
I've had so many calls about.
No, I'm sure.
When we had it where we could get more, but we had to trim it down because it wasn't.
No, I overstand, because I know your budgets, but it's important that you're doing.
It's their budget. It wasn't our budget.
Okay.
And it's important for us to at least begin the process. And so those of us who are not able to make it know that we'll be representing our community. And the mayor has been in this parade since I can remember. When he was a state senator, he was a police officer, he was the
Right.
the Guardians, and he was the president of the Guardians. He's always been out in the parade. So it's his parade and it's our parade. So I'm grateful for him for allowing us to have this kickoff.
Yeah, no, it's very, very important.
So
And
next year we hope to bring other people in. And
no
then
problem.
we'll have now this is where everyone's invited. We will have a press conference at the Schomburg Center on the 10th of September.
Yes.
Beginning at 10:30 a.m. We expect the press to come out, and we expect to have all our grand marshals there, or those who are able to attend, and all of our leaders in the community to come out and be a part. And we're going to have what we call a good health talk, where we have panelists, 3 doctors going to be talking about certain areas: mental health, pediatric health, and general health for our community on a quick panel for about a half an hour or so.
Okay, great.
And we would like the community to come out and listen to them as we introduce our grand marshals and marshals and begin the parade from that point on. So those are 2 very important areas I think we need to just let people know.
No, absolutely.
Not that if you can't make one, but you can't make the first one.
Right.
That's invitation on, but this one you need to go to our website at www.africanamericandayparade.org, and so you would like to have a ticket to come to the press conference, and then they will send you a ticket and you can come into the press conference.
Right.
We only have room for about 100 or 150 people at 100.
Right. So get that done. I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News, and it's very easy. You just go in, click, put your name, put your email, and you get a ticket right away. We've already, done that. So we are looking very much forward to being there. And thank you, Imam Chairperson Yusuf Hasan, for coming on to Harlem Network News. I love you always make me feel very calm, because the work that we have to do here in Harlem and in the community, it's large work. And we had the opportunity, as you speak of our Honorable Congressman Charles B. Rangel, he was on our show last week. And I got the same calm from him. He even shared about his book, I've Never Had a Bad Day. And there's a humbleness and a take charge and everything's okay. And you exhibit that same energy. because the parade is so massive and there's so much that goes on. And the fact that you're able to sit calmly and just make this happen. So we have cross bearers in our community. You're one of them. Harlem Week and the Honorable Lloyd Williams and his team, just to see that, yes, we can. This is Harlem. Yes, we can do these things. And even in terms of gentrification that is being faced all over the country, even in our suburban areas. I had the honor last week of, we have Black people that live out on the East End, in the Hamptons, in Sag Harbor. They had a beautiful annual block party. It's the 70th annual block party. And that's very, very significant because even a Sag Harbor is fighting to hold on to a small beach community that Black people started. And, it's starting to get gentrified for a lot of the same reasons, but the fact that they were able to hold on. There's also the Shinnecock Powwow that's happening in Southampton. And those are Native Americans, and many of them are mixed with Black people, Black and brown people. That the Native Americans, helped a lot of the slaves go to freedom. So you can go out to that powwow. That's been existing for a long time. And, just mixing in all the things that have happened in our community, gun violence. My son, Ali Sam Wayman Wisdom, was actually shot and killed on that reservation November 5th, 2021. So I'm a victim of the gun violence, as many mothers and fathers are in our community. But yesterday at the Shinnecock Powwow, my brother, who has a wonderful drum group, my brother Wayne Duncan, the drum group is called the Young Blood Singers Society, of which my son was a part. He was honored. There was an honor song, the Native American dance happened, with his picture in the middle. So there's hope in our communities, but we've got to support our organizations. We've got to hold firm and fast, and certainly chairperson, Imam Yusuf Hasan, you are a great part of that. So if you would just give us closing words, closing statement, encourage folks to come out to the parade, where they got to go. And also, you're an imam, you're a chaplain in the hospital. So please pray us out, because we know prayer is important.
Well, thank you, Terri, for having me. But I love my people. And I think I love all people. All people deserve to be loved and cared for. Those who from all over the world that comes here for support, and they're frightened and afraid and alone. We've been alone a long time. We've been fighting this battle for generations, to make a way for others. So we have to learn to love ourselves, love our young men and women. They might have been in trouble in their lifetime. Love our mothers, especially. They might have been out there on drugs and all those other negative things that come in, but they're still our mothers and they're still our family. We should love them, and we should support them the best that we can. And it's important that we care for our children. Sometimes we have to leave some of them behind, the old ones that out there not really giving everything they can and want to do wrong. We have to, skip some of them at a moment and go to those little ones that need to be cared and nourished so they can come to this next level that we need to get them. That's a hard thing for mothers.
Absolutely.
It's difficult.
Absolutely.
Leave your boys and some of those girls behind that's 20 years old, 19, 30, and they all out there doing wrong. Sometimes we just have to say, look, you can't get it right. We've been fighting for years to get you right. But now we got to go on, and those who want to hold on. But we need to go to the little ones and pull them up and hold them up, teach them what's right. And just remember, God is on our side. He has never left us in this battle. And we should never leave each other in this battle. This is a battle for life. And I'm honored that I've been given this opportunity to try to hold this parade together, because I think it's important that we keep this parade in Harlem. Because whoever moves out and whoever moves in, this parade We have to stay on the ground to show that we are here. We're not going anywhere else. This is it, the last stand. And
Yeah.
this it help us do that. And same thing with Harlem Week. I love Lord Williams. He's been a great man. He's a good friend of mine. And I will always support him what he do with the Harlem Week. But I want all of you to know that this parade is ours. And it runs us, no one else. So we need your support in that we will support you. When you started your organization, we want to support that. Please understand that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. That's very, very important.
You can't expect
How we get to
outsiders.
the next level.
We can't expect other people to help us in our life because they will see that they're trying to help themselves as well. So it's important. So may the good Lord always strengthen us and give us the courage and give us the strength to continue to move forward, not only to protect our community, but also educate our community. We have two things we need to do. We need to fight hard to get access to capital, which will sustain us. And then we need to fight really hard to educate our own children on our history and our life. This is so important to us. So let us fight, and may the good Lord always bless us and keep us and give us the strength and the courage to do what's right and to forbid what's wrong. We pray. Amen. Thank you.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. A very active and vital prayer. And at this time, we're going to sign off. Harlem Network News, please go to our website. You can sign our petition to bring our sister Brittany Griner home. We want to know what it is you need. If there's information that you have, share it with us so we can get it out there. We're doing our newsletter, now once a week, really to just assure that more people are informed. You can go to Instagram, you can go to YouTube. I mean, we're even going to TikTok now because we know that that's where the young people are. My grandson who's 11 said, what would I do without TikTok? I wouldn't even know what was happening. So we have to meet these young people where they are. We've got to put that intergenerational gap.
And Terri, let me say this to all the audiences. We need to stop saying that we stand on the shoulders of giants. These giants stand on our shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
We should never forget them. When you stand on someone's shoulder, you're pushing them down.
Okay.
We're allowed to stand on our shoulders. We're holding them up and not forgetting them and remembering them. That's the key. The next group will hold us up, push us up. And that's the key to the whole entire thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So important to me.
So thank you for that. And everybody, you can reach out to Harlem Network News, give information if you have it, make donations if you can, because this is us supporting us. And the same for the Great African American Day Parade. Go to their website, AfricanAmericanDayParade.com. Make your donation. .org, I'm sorry, make your donations. And I see you even have some merchandise on there where they can get the shirts. So you can make that happen. We're proud. And just one last thing, Imam, what about the virtual parade? Is it virtual this year as well?
Well, they can see it virtual as well. We're going to be live streaming it. We'll be live streaming the parade as well as really having it in a physical person. And it's going to be live streamed all over the world.
Okay, I love it. I love it. There's been a lot of things about this technical revolution that have been a challenge, and we're still working through it. We had a little bump this afternoon, but we got on. But it's very important because, as you said, people can live stream it all over the world, which makes more people know about it. And then those who might be sick and shut in or had to work or whatever it is, they can still virtually be a part. And I love the fact that you said they can go to the website and see the parade for the past couple of years. So this is living history. So thank you so much. Have a blessed day. We will continue. We're going to rebroadcast this. We'll let everybody know when so they can see it again. But we want to assure that we've got those boots on the ground, grassroots for the African American Day Parade, because this is us supporting us. And we thank you and kudos to you, Imam Yusuf Hasan. Thank you for joining us and always you don't say no. I said, can you come on the show? You say sure. And that really makes me feel good. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
And you have a greater day. Bye-bye.
I appreciate it. I need it. Thank you.
Bye.